Hello, everybody. We got there in the end. We have had nothing but technical issues tonight, as you can see by the way we've started the show. We'll apologise for that.
What's this we?
Well, you're part of the team, so there we go. I'm using it in the royal sense, so I do apologise, folks. It's been an absolute mare here this evening, but we appear to be on track. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we all doing?
Fine. Good here.
Good.
I can't actually answer that at the minute because my computer's playing silly devils with me. But there you go. I'm back. There you go.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
You're all using Macintoshes, aren't you? I'm just checking.
Right. So they've changed something. We now have a program called Google Canary, which has appeared instead of Google Chrome. On mine, it's getting in the way of everything I usually do on Google Chrome.
Google Canary.
I haven't got a clue. Suddenly appeared the other day. I've been trying to. This is my brother. I've been trying to uninstall the damn thing.
Too many bad jokes for having canaries in the place. Let's do it. I could see Chris's mind working on that already.
Oh, yes.
I can hear a whole host of Norwich fans trying to download it really quickly.
What's Google Canary? I'm just reading. Apparently, it's a Google Canary is the browser mainly for developers. Canary can be unstable as it's an experimental release channel. If you're a developer, you can test the next gen web APIs in Canary. So I would say, Ian, that you've managed to get the wrong one and grab Chrome.
It's going to get binned as soon as I possibly can get it off the machine. But it kind of I was trying to because they've added two-way verification onto Chrome, and I was trying to get it sorted, and suddenly I had this other thing, and it's just every time I turn the computer on, it keeps trying to get in the way, and it's really bugging me now.
Yeah,
I'm a Safari boy. It's only because StreamYard doesn't work very well it doesn't work at all actually in Safari that I have to have Chrome. So.
No, I prefer to use Chrome. I really don't like Safari these days. I just find it tedious, quite frankly. So much prefer Chrome.
What are you doing in Tasmania? That's all the way over the water from.
Who's this?
Morning all from Tasmania. What on earth are you doing in Tasmania, man?
Well, he's in Australia, isn't he? It's
right. That takes the Thylacine.
Yeah. The problem with that is the devil's in the details, isn't it?
Oh, geez, sorry.
Oh.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm here till Thursday. Try the veal.
Very good. Right. Shall we jump ahead with projects here, Chris?
Yes.
Talk us through. Not this one. These are the old pics. That
was then.
I know. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the. It's because we were ready to go, and then suddenly StreamYard decided to have a wobbly, and this is why we're a bit late tonight. So, Chris, talk us through. He says as the image starts to. There we go. Add to stage. Talk us.
Oh, there you go. That's it. That's the C60L Canadian military pattern truck, 3-ton conversion. It's all finished. I think it came out pretty good. I was very excited about the cover on the bed there, which is good old fashioned toilet tissue, moistened with some diluted matte medium. It's like scenery medium, like you'd spray on with a bottle. That came out pretty well, and it was like my first try, and it worked pretty good. So yeah, a lot of all the little bitty bits kind of on there last week. The windshield wipers and the rear view mirrors and the rope around the bumper and stuff like that, and some weathering with MIG pigments and stuff like that. Since I don't build a lot of armor, this is a lot of fun. A big learning process, and I was very pleased by how some of it came out.
70
But,
seconds, isn't it?
70-second scale.
And the kit is Ace?
The kit is IBG.
IBG, sorry.
So it's a really old IBG kit. So this kind of thing where every part's got 4 attachment points on the tree. Interesting stuff like that. But and again, I have to reiterate, Canadians, almost as an active protest, when they were told to put the stars on their vehicles, they put them on a little bit crooked. So if you, again, I keep telling people, if you like Canadian subjects or if you're bad at decals, this is great for you, because
as we'd say in the colonies, they're a bit skew whiff.
There you go. So I really like the way it came out. I think it's an interesting subject. They made an awful lot of these things, and the fact there's no kit in 70-second scale is kind of a crime. I'm pretty sure that now this is finished, that this conversion is done after many years, that IBG's kit will follow shortly.
Mm-hmm. Of course it will.
Or
Yeah.
else.
It's the way it works. So yeah. So that is, I'm gonna say that one's done for now until I can find some figures and things to put in there. There's not a lot of really good casually posed figures in battle dress without helmets and web gear and stuff like that. So I'm waiting to find those. But yeah, I like it.
Are those flowers, Chris, or is that snow?
Those are flowers. Those
Ah.
are actually I think it's Silflor made these things. I bought them for one of my dinosaur projects. They're a little small in scale, but they look pretty good in 70-second. So driving along the spring of 1945. Just trying to figure out a way to incorporate somebody reading the British military newspaper announcing the end of the war. That would be kind of cool.
I'm sure somebody at some stage will do a 3D printed figure that will be perfect for what you need.
That is it's no longer my hope, it's my expectation. These days, you don't have to just, if only. It's like, yeah, if it's not just a matter of, it's not just if only they would do it, it's when's it going to happen, because it will.
Well, Bristol friends could do that, couldn't they, John?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm sure. I'm not entirely sure. They probably don't have something already in the range.
That was my thought as well. Something sort of, appropriate already. Well, worth having a look.
Yeah, this is Model U. Model U, and just based up the road from me. So, bound to have something that you can.
Yeah, I spend a lot. I don't think they've got anything exactly what I want right now, but they will. Because I spent a lot of time this week looking at various 3D figure producers' websites in an inordinate amount of time, looking at them, and I'm sure it's coming, because how could it not? It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've got some comments here, Chris. Sarah Jane says, "Nicely done, Chris."
Thank you.
Jim Altegott says, "IBG, a lot of parts per kit, no matter what the scale." It's what we call the mini art effect.
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation. Same with mini art, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Keith, hi everyone. That truck looks very nice. I'm just seeing any more comments. No, not at all. Ian, you have been a busy little bunny, and in fact I can see the fruit of your labors behind you, but I'm just going to bring up the images because that is the Italeri 1/12 scale Bugatti, isn't it?
Yeah. All done. All dusted.
All done. Here we go. Here are the images. Finally, like I say, folks, we have nothing but there we go. That's what we're looking for. That looks pretty tasty, Ian.
I will admit I haven't got around to doing the beauty shots for it yet. I just
That is lovely, isn't it?
and,
Yeah,
and
that's terrific.
Yeah, most of the last session with it was devoted to those straps. So when we last saw it, I got a run on that back body section. So I gave that a sand back and a respray. And if anything, it came up better. Just for that. In fact, that's the side that you can see that lovely shine on it, which is where the run was. So I was rather pleased with that. And as you know, I'd got everything kind of bolted together, and painted, ready to bolt together rather. And that is now complete. It's intended that you can open the hood. Yeah, I don't know that I'd be that keen to try and do it. There's an awful lot of work went into them straps, and I really wouldn't want to break them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The kit provides you with some lovely material to do it with, and I will illustrate that in a minute when I'm back on camera. They give you this lovely material, and it does actually look quite nice until you try and start to do anything with it. Let me move that out of the way. So they give you this sort of fabricy stuff. You can see it. They give you two bits. There's a rectangular piece and this, and they have ever such a slightly different texture to them, which is a nice touch. But as you can see, as soon as you cut it,
it frays.
It frays. And the other issue is you're supposed to punch holes into it. So I very carefully cut it into the right size and put it through the old punch and die and punched it through, and I just ended up with something that was substandard. Let's just say substandard. I tried passing it with a heat down the side of it to get rid of the fuzz, and that worked quite nicely, but then it just melted where the holes were and things. So yeah, in the end I resorted to this which is some art paper that I've had a little while. All I did was cut it into strips, back it up with a good old-fashioned Sharpie to make it black on both sides. And then
Ian, this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but bear with me. Try a pizza cutter, just to see what happens.
Yeah, I did. I tell you what, I did try it with. I tried it with Drew. Hang on, this will take a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I tried it
Blah,
with
blah, 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 blah,
blah
blah,
blah 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 blah
blah,
blah.
blah.
Yeah, I've got a set of Galaxy models. Well, I say I have. I've got to find them. A set of Galaxy models pinwheels.
Yes, yeah, I've got some of them.
And they're very, very nice. They are absolutely lovely. And I tried it with the coarsest version of those. I'm off camera center here somewhere. And it was all right. It just wasn't defined enough.
Right.
Because if you looked at the pictures, you could clearly see on the real car. There's a couple of pictures of her stood in front of the car, and you can clearly see the holes. So, and I think you might just see a couple here and here in this image. So here, just above the buckle. So those holes run all the way down in there and all the way in this buckle here. So what you've got is you've got a little plastic piece that fits here, a stub belt with a buckle on it. The buckle is provided in plastic. This buckle here, and there's a front and a rear one. And then this belt has the holes in it, and you poke it through this Photo-Etch fixture, pull it through, and then pop it tight, and it kind of holds it tight. It's really nice. It's like a
Torque.
It's like
Torque strap.
Yeah, like that, and it just holds it. It's a nice thing because on the real car there was a spring, I believe, in here that kept it all taut. Undoing it and redoing it to do the to enable you to take the hood off may not be the easiest thing in the world. So it's kind of parked at the minute like this. That said, I think, to be honest, when the hood was open, it lost some of the appeal. The shape went.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just think that boat tail and the shape is what that car's all about. It screws together. In the main, there's not a lot of fit issues with this one at all, particularly after the Stratos, where I had lots of issues. I don't think there's much of an issue with this. They gave you some lovely wire material to make the brake lines with that was bigger in diameter than the vinyl tube you're supposed to push it into. Had a hot one. So that got replaced with some Albion alloys wires. And the front steer, the steering is actually engineered to work, but there's so much play in it. I just couldn't justify leaving it. So it's kind of fixed up. But the thing's going to go on to various places for display. And so I worked on the basis of I'd rather it be stronger to survive in those environments than have, the ability to turn the steering wheel. So, there's some really nice touches in it, which we've spoken about before. That like the metal turned metal, bare metal finish on the dashboard that's on the decal sheet, and things like that. I mean, it really has. It's a lovely thing to build. And once I'd got everything kind of painted, it went together reasonably quickly. There's a few sort of bits in it where you look at it and go, really? But yeah, it's
Your
very
finish.
simple.
Your finish. I'm assuming that was that Mr. Color. Was that the Mr. Color spray can, and then you've Trizact it?
Right. Okay. That
looks like H58 Japanese yellow.
Straight from the box, straight from the can, uncleared, untrizacted, unpolished, Tamiya camel yellow, which is a color they developed for the FW14B, the 12th scale one, when they did it. And I genuinely can't fault that stuff. And that's in some instances, in some areas, that's straight over bare plastic.
So you haven't put a gloss coat over the top of it, and you haven't Trizact it.
Nope, I've done nothing with it.
Well, hats off to you, Ian, for not defaulting to your process, right?
Most of it was was polishing the plastic. The plastic was the finish on the plastic was good enough that I could polish the plastic up to a good shine, so that when I put the paint on it, it then reflected what was underneath it. It was. I knew I had a good chance that I thought I would end up doing a clear coat on it, but when it all dried and it all sat in the dehydrator for a few days and it was nice and hard, like your Escort, which I believe, which obviously we'll talk about later, I think, it was baked on. I just looked at it, I thought for the era of finish, the era of the car and the finish it was needing, it didn't need anything else doing to it. So I was quite happy to put it away. Plus, it's busy enough that it didn't need any more.
Yeah.
So yeah, pleased with it. The photo etch is nice. The tires are good. There's a few. So let's see. You think, well, someone who engineered that loved it. When we talk about passion projects that we have. I say that sometimes you'll get someone who works at a kit manufacturer, and you can tell. Yeah,
you can tell when somebody loves the subject they're charged with.
Emotionally invested, aren't they? You know what I mean? We have it with, was it Parnjit, the guy from Airfix, because he was working, he did one, and he was talking. You could see the project he was working on. His eyes lit up when he was talking about it. It might be the Jaguar, or something. But that personal investment in the project, I think, sometimes reflects in what we get at the end.
Oh, it does, without a shadow of a doubt.
I always think is one that someone's been personally interested in.
I always think of the Airfix Marauder for that.
Yeah,
clearly designed by somebody who loved the Marauder.
John Edwards, I think.
that was clearly somebody who loved the aircraft.
I was at so much, and if I remember correctly, miles more detail than anything else.
Yeah,
that
it just
knocked out in that period.
it stood out, you know, against everything else that was being produced at the time by them.
Yeah.
It's a standout model.
Yeah, it's there's a now for Romeo in the series as well, a 2300, which I did quietly suggest to Mr. Farmer he might like building, but at the minute he's not that bothered for that one, so I might end up to get that one myself. But the other thing with this kit is that the second option in it, and Mike makes reference to the blue in his comment just now, is blue because it's the 1930 Monaco Grand Prix car, which is Dreyfus's car, which has got a completely different setup. So it hasn't got the two extra wheels. It's only got a single seat. There's like a tonneau cover on here with an extra fuel tank inside it. So it's different enough to be different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'd quite happily build that. It's a nice kit, and I know a couple of my friends have built a couple of them. Steve Abbott's built a couple. So yeah, very pleased with it actually. Happier with that than I am with the Stratos.
Yeah, Mike Williams makes a point. A case in point is the new Revell Meteor. It's just sublime.
Mm-hmm.
And that again, sometimes also it comes down to the quality of the research material you've got. And I suspect that obviously there's a couple of these around in museums in reasonably unrestored condition, which they've obviously been able to get access to, because there's a lot of the ones that were running in the 70s and 80s in the historic circuit are modified to make them meet the various
safety standards. Yeah.
The ones in the museums aren't. And I think they've clearly had access to one of them because the engine in that is spot on for period. It's got the earlier ignition systems and the shaft driven cams and things in it. So yeah, nice kit. I've enjoyed it.
Brilliant. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that at Telford, which is coming up quicker. It's coming up quick in the mirror now, isn't it, Drew? That's a terrifying prospect, isn't it? What have you been working on then, Mr. M?
Do you know what I have done in terms of new stuff this week? I'm preparing to undertake a new project. I haven't done anything, but one of the interesting things I did this week was 13, 14. Oh, don't do that, John. 13 or 14 years ago, I built the Tamiya Spitfire Mark 9, the 32nd one. And since about 2015, it sat on top of a bookshelf in my bedroom, completely ignored. And I've only ever looked at the underside of it while lying in bed, and it hasn't moved. And this week I thought, I'll get that down and have a look at it. And I got it down, and there was literally about 2 millimeters of dust all over the upper surfaces of it. So I got the airbrush on it and blew as much as I could off, and then I took it into the bathroom and used a very soft brush and lots of cold water and soap and stuff like that, and repeatedly cleaned it. And I have to say, for something that's been sat around for that long, I'm really rather taken with it. It really came out very well for something that's been sitting around for that long. The engine is, you can see the engine there. That will all go in and pop back into place there.
Magnets.
Magnets and stuff. But yeah, it was just interesting to pull it down. Now the canopy is in the other room. The only thing that's been lost over the time is the entrance hatchway, which I will have to try and source another one to replace that. But really, for something that's been sat around for that long.
What were your paints? Because your paints look absolutely spot on.
I think they are. I think that Dark Earth and Midstone are bang on the money, and they are Mr. Colour, straight from the pot.
and you're going to tell me you free-handed that and you didn't use masks.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that's free-handed. No masks were used on that. That was free-handed.
Oh yeah, you can totally tell.
That'll be C21 and C22 then, Drew. Yeah.
No, whichever the Dark Earth, the Midstone is, that's C20,
C21.
C21,
Yeah.
and the Dark Earth is from their RAF set, which is C300 and
Oh
something.
yeah, the later one. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, people have always said, "Oh no, it's a Midstone is a more orange color than that," and I really don't think it is. I think
No, it's
that to me-
mustardy. It's mustardy.
Yeah, that to me is absolutely bang on the money.
Yep.
I really like that, and that's been my Midstone of choice ever since. But yeah, that was my week. It was just it just really a couple of 3 days ago. I thought I'll get that down and have a look at it and spent sort of thank you, Jim, and spent a few hours cleaning it up and now it'll probably go back on there for another 10 years.
Bring it
but-
to Telford. Bring it to
Put it in a
Telford.
case, and then it won't get dusty.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, it's straight from the kit. There's nothing added, nothing taken away. Everything on there, the decals, everything is straight from the kit. This is the one that started an argument about 10 years ago when people were saying that Tamiya decals are rubbish and don't go down. And hopefully you can see that roundel there is going over a very large.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And it absolutely just went down perfectly.
You and I have had this discussion in person, Drew, and usually peppered with colourful metaphors. But essentially, it comes down to technique, and a lot of the time, people just don't have the right technique
That
for
is-
working with Tamiya.
That there is one decal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can see how that's gone over that large bump there. No problem at all. So yeah, that was really, that's all I've done this week. But I think it's been it's been time pretty well spent.
Jerry Doyle says,
sure.
I might have a spare door in the attic.
If only I could get over there and get it off of you, Jerry. Oh, hang on, Friday. So yeah, that was nothing new to speak of, but just that really rather satisfying little, for something that was built a decade and a half ago and has sat largely ignored for 10 years, to sort of pluck it down. In fact, the last time it was down off of that shelf was when we were having that discussion in 2016 about Tamiya decals.
What is scary is how old the Tamiya 32nd scale Spitfire Mark 9 is now. Then,
Well, yeah, because that was I built it when it was effective, pretty much a new kit. I'm pretty irritated because I had the Mark 8, which the Mark 8 is my favourite Merlin Spitfire.
Yep.
And I sold it because I thought, I'm never going to get around to building this, and I really wish I hadn't, because I really feel like building it now. Well, there you go. Everybody's saying they have spare doors, so excellent news. Excellent news.
There's a lot to be said.
well,
There's a lot to be said for pulling out stuff that is in that stage that just needs a little push over the finish line or a little attention. Because I went through earlier this year, this T33 I had. Honestly, I built it for a club contest. I kind of hurried to get it done, and then I took it to a contest, and I was talking to the guy who was the head of that contest. Was working on a contest down here with me. Not a very nice guy, honestly, and he said some things about the T33 that I have a pretty thick skin about my models, but it affected me to the point where I put the T33 away for like 5 or 6 years and marked it down. I got to go fix this thing. It's so messed up. I got it out and I started looking at it and it says, yeah, there's this to fix, this one little thing, and adding this one little detail, and it's done. It's ready to go.
Chris, I've said this time and time again, that projects that you shelve, normally if you shelve them for any length of time, you'll pull that out and look at it and you won't remember why you shelved it. You look at it and go, this is fine. There's nothing wrong with this. And it goes, I've done it so many times over the years. I've had kits set up in the attic for 5 or 6 years and I've pulled them down to have a look at them with a view to throwing them out, and I've gone, this is 85% done. Why did I? And I can't remember why I stopped.
Yeah, you forget what it was that was really bugging you. I completely, I'm the same. And I pick something up and I think, why did I stop working on this? And I go looking for the flaw and I can't find it. So
there's a story about that with me. I was going through some boxes looking for something with a friend of mine, Lee Elliott, who was here. And I opened a BMAX Lancia Delta kit, and I had everything in the box painted, body painted, decaled, everything, but just loose in the box. And he sat here, and over the space of that evening, I turned it into a finished model.
Yeah.
It was like, I've no idea why I did what I did, but I put it all back in the box, decaled, even gloss coated and polished the damn thing. And all I had to do was do the windscreen surrounds, mask and do the blacks for the windscreens. And then it was finished. So he sat here and watched me assemble it. By the time he went home, about 3 hours later, I'd got a completely built chassis and a master body. But the funny thing is, I have no recollection of actually getting the model to that condition and then putting it in the box. The box just sat on the shelf. And for ages, I just thought it was when I hadn't started.
Yeah, the shelf.
Right. Here we go. This is, I am very grateful to Mr. Ian Hartup of this parish for his advice. This is the Italeri 24 scale Zac Speed Escort that has already had one coat of Tamiya gloss black on it. And I put that into the dehydrator, let it dry off for best part of 3 or 4 days. And then today I went at it with the Trizact and then gave it a good clean, put it back in the dehydrator to just dry off a bit. And then a couple of more coats of the Tamiya Gloss Black. Still needs a bit of Trizact action on it, but oh my goodness me, that is easily the best gloss finish I've ever got on a car. I am good happy with that. Thank you, Mr. Hartup, sir. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the thing is, because
you're going to slather it in mud, aren't you?
Sorry?
And you're going to slather it in mud, aren't you?
Well, I was just going to say the sad thing is that these Escorts really weren't that glossy, and so this will be toned down a bit. And yes, I am going to cover it with mud because it's a rally car, but I am encouraged, and bearing in mind I've got that Tyrrell to build for Jadlam to deliver for Christmas for Russ. I am encouraged by the fact that I know I'm starting to feel my way on how I can get a reasonably concours finish for car models. So God bless you, Mr. Hartup. That's been a
effectively
learning.
I'm the only aircraft modeler here tonight, aren't I?
Right, let's talk about aircraft models, shall we? Right, KP have announced a whole family of P47Cs. So this is the slightly shorter Razorback Thunderbolt. So they're doing 4 varieties, and we've got the box art and the camouflage schemes for them here. I like that one. That's the one I think I'd go for.
Yeah, that's got the big belly tank on it, which is pretty much unavailable until this, which is great.
Dave Fleming of this parish says that KP box looks very Matchbox. It does. It does. So we've got they're doing pretty much the whole family of P47C. So if we just go back through, they're doing a C5, a C2, a C2/5, and a C2/5. So
the C had the big keel, didn't it? The B, it was a B that didn't have the big keel, and the C was the first with the big keel on it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
the thing, it's a great choice of aircraft. It's one that I don't think we've had a decent kit of before. The only thing that lets it down is possibly because it's KP.
Didn't Dora Wings?
I was trying to find I was trying to find a way to put that, Ian, and I think you've covered that.
Because I've tried several of their kits and they've all ended up in the same place.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's the model gods giveth and the model gods taketh away. P-47Cs. Oh, it's KP.
That was more or less my reaction. I was like, "Oh, Drew's gonna." Oh no, he's not. Drew's gonna love those.
No, Dave. I think some of the early C's were shallow keeled, but they got the keel fairly early on.
Well, these are C5, so they seem to be deep keel, don't they?
Well, like Travis says, Dora might do it in 70-second. I've got a Dora B and a C, and they are beautiful. And my experience of Dora models says there'll be no problem to build. So,
aren't they 48 though?
Yeah, that's what. But that's what it's saying. Dora might do it in 70-second as well, because they have a history of scaling stuff down. It's just, sadly, it's just that. I mean, I'm with Ian. Every KP kit I've tried over the last few years has just the juice has not been worth the squeeze. Let's put it that way.
I love that expression.
I was very disappointed by the DH88.
I mean, I've built a couple. I tried their MiG 19 and their PC 9 earlier this year, and they're just. I hate to say it because I think I'm a reasonably good modeler, but you just rapidly come to the conclusion they're more trouble than they're worth.
For me, KP is like you take a subject nobody else is ever going to do. I've got like a Piper Pawnee over there, something like that. I'm never going to say I'm going to ditch this Piper Pawnee to build the other one in 70-second scale. That's not going to happen. So you're forced to muddle through, which is, because you want that airplane, you're going to build that airplane because that's your choice. But I do like.
Having said that, I will wait to see the kit. You never know when they're gonna break free of that and do something that makes everybody go, ooh. Because once upon a time, every time you opened an MPM kit up, it was exactly the same. Yeah. Oh. So and in 2010, 2000, 2005 sort of period, Special Hobby were, MPM were all the same. Hey, and then they picked up the, they picked up the pace and got with the program. So.
P-47 junkie myself. It's nice to see that big tank. They called it the baby because airplane looked pregnant.
Yeah.
And I've seen lots of pictures of fourth fighter planes with nose art, or I guess tank art on the baby itself, which is good. And I've got lots of instances where I've bought kits just for parts like that to fix up better kits or to modify better kits. So the cowling, the tank, stuff like that is going to be useful. Sometimes I look at kits like this as like a conversion kit or a detail set for another better model.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I say. I mean, whilst I'm being fairly negative, but that is the voice of recent experience speaking. I will make a final decision when I see one.
What was that film that came out a few years ago where they were cloning people so they could harvest them for their organs? Never Let Me Go or something. Never Let Go. I can't remember what it's called. All I know is some of it was filmed on Clevedon Pier. So there we go. But yeah, this is essentially what you're almost doing with these kits. Is you're buying them.
Long journey to get there.
Link
I'm saying that you're buying these kits so that you can harvest their organs for other projects. So
yeah, I used to buy Academy P-47s to steal propellers to fix up Hasegawa P-47s. So it's been going on for a long time.
We'll see. I hate to be, I'm not trying to be deliberately negative, but we'll see.
I am going to grab one.
I would love. But that to be the subject where I'm proven wrong, and it's an absolutely beautiful model. I really would.
Keep our fingers crossed. Right, next on the list for tonight, we've got a short list tonight, so we're good. This is from Ace in Ukraine. And this is a 72nd scale Mercedes W640 4x4 LKW 460 first generation of G-Class G-Wagon. Yeah, that one.
Or German Jeep, basically.
Yeah, German Jeep, essentially, yeah. And like I say, this is Ace from Ukraine. I think that's...
If I say a long way, haven't they, Ace?
Yes.
I remember some of their earlier stuff, and it was workmanlike as being very, very generous.
I think the best way of describing some of their earlier stuff is injection molded vac forms, because you literally had to cut the bits away from the surrounding flash. Whereas this actually, and I mean this as a compliment, this kind of reminds me of peak Matchbox. It's, you know, some of their better armor kits. It does look rather tasty.
It looks nicer than that, but there you
go. Le Cleopard. Some photo etch in the kit, and that to me, that is a proportionate use of photo etch. I know you not keen on the medium, Drew, but I think that's often because
I'm fine with the medium. I just think it has to be used appropriately,
and I think it has been used appropriately there. So it looks like we've got the windscreen wipers, we've got some towing hooks. Looks like we've got brake and accelerator pedals and the number plates, and that is an appropriate use of photo etch, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
And absolutely minuscule. Because if that's the accelerator pedals, they're going to be about 2 mil square at a push.
Yeah, and it's stuff that wouldn't really work as injection molding. So, and there we have the stickers, some UN vehicles. So, again, I'm curious about this, and I am going to keep an eye out for one of these, because I want it to be good, and I think it's an interesting subject.
That's neat. No, I built that M1942 staff car last year, and it's the parts on the tree look like an advancement over the engineering of that thing, which is a little bit of a challenge to get everything in place, all the different segments of the body. But I love the fact that they'll give you a military option, and then they'll give you some kind of off the wall civilian option, like there's a fire probably command vehicle in there, which is really cool. The staff car had a police car from the El Cajon, California fire police department. So good for Ace for doing that kind of stuff, because it really does open the possibilities.
I think, to be honest, Travis, it's because it's so tiny it looks that way.
Right.
I don't think it.
That P looks like you need tin snips to get through it. You do. What you need is a Xuron photo etch.
But as that set of PE is probably 10 millimeters by 5 millimeters.
I think Drew's right. I think the problem is it's because the picture's so zoomed in, it looks about 6 inches thick. And it's
just to confirm what Jim Altergott said there. Yes, Jim, to confirm, one of their Dora Wings P47C kits does have the belly tank. I can confirm that because I have the kit. So let's have a look through the comments. This is a bit like the comments to comment. Yeah. Does anybody know anything about the potential issues with the newly reissued Airfix Vintage Classics Jaguar GR1? The fuselage is apparently from a Hella Jaguar 8 with different nose and fins. Yeah, it appears that, as far as I can tell, Peter, somebody in the research department has dropped the ball. It's as simple as that. The kit was modified years ago by Hella to represent a French aircraft. Somebody in the research department appears to have thought they still have the mold as it always was, and will release it in the Vintage Classics, and didn't check the actual tooling before doing just that. So effectively, we've got a Vintage Classic release of a modified Airfix tooling from Hella. My suspicion is that tooling has been modified, and the original GR1 fuselage doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah,
I think that fuselage was chopped up to make a French Jaguar fuselage.
I've got it in my head that at some point post Gulf War, Hella reissued that with that, that slightly dubious high tech Gulf weapons set that they did.
Some of the weapons in that were really nice.
Yeah, some of it was a bit off. The Barracuda and the bits and pieces like that were spot on. The ECM pods and things that they were in it.
I mean, for its time in the early 90s, the AS-30s and the Mapra Magics, they were all really, really nice.
But I remember seeing a Hella box, post Gulf War, first Gulf War, with that kit and those munitions all in one box with an upgraded decal sheet, which for Hella wouldn't have been difficult in period. But yeah,
Dave's providing a bit of timeline there. That's really weird, Dave, because it doesn't look like an insert. Maybe it is. I don't know. But regardless, the ball has been dropped at the actual production of shots stage, and nobody's checked that before releasing it. Whoopsie.
Shame, really.
Right, let's crack on. Rare's kit. We've mentioned them on this show before, and they are doing a whole slew of parts in basic and detailed edition.
I thought they'd already done the F-35A cockpit.
Quite possibly, but I think this was flashed up new on their Facebook feed this week. So
I think they've changed it to include the 3D printed parts, and they're calling it a detailed edition. There was a drop fit one into the kit originally.
Yeah, I was sure they had done it. In fact, I'm not entirely unconvinced. It's not sitting in the box of my F-35A next door, but you lose track of the stuff you order, don't you?
Well, here we go. So they've said what's new. F-35A Lightning II cockpit detailed edition for Tamiya kit. So they've done different versions, and then they're doing basic editions as well. So these are the detailed editions. That seat looks absolutely lovely, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I love that. I'm just experimenting with using sculpting for fabric effects on 3D designs at the moment. So watch this.
Okay. So this is we're scrolling through. This is sets number 516. We're on to the basic edition now. Let's go. Yeah, so this is the basic edition. And again, that seat, for a basic edition, that seat looks absolutely delicious. Basic edition with 3D decals as well. So there's that for your Tamiya F-35A, and then for the Great Wall 48 scale A10. Again, they're doing basic and detailed. So it just says here. Great Wall A10A Thunderbolt 2 cockpit basic edition with 3D decals, and detailed edition with 3D decals. So we'll scroll through.
Yeah, Razkit, feel free to do an early A10A with an Escapac seat as well.
Is that the part of the spine molded in with that as well?
Yeah, it looks to be.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the kit is tooled like that because as the A10 canopy goes up, there's a section immediately of the spine. I was going to point it out here, but nobody can see me point it out. But that section immediately to the rear of the canopy there actually lifts up and travels back when the canopy goes up.
All right, go on then, Drew. You got the stage. Go on then.
Well, I can't do it because I haven't got the kit with me, John.
All right, I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to mime it with your hands or something. I thought we were going to get an interpretive dance or something. So,
yeah, that area in front of that's an A10C, anyway, isn't it? It's got the
pictures aren't formatting properly. Oh, that's weird. No, okay. I'll tell you what. Carry on talking about A10s, Drew, and I'm going to go and reformat those pictures. So. As we say, bear with.
Sergeant calling for a prototype cockpit and canopy.
Well, yeah, I mean, Craig and I had a few hours while I was messing around a few weeks ago with a kit trying to make a prototype YA10 forward fuselage, and it is it's basically entirely different in every possible way from the A10A. It's just about every contour, including the windscreen and canopy, is different. Not to mention the fact that it's got an F105 ejector seat and nose wheel leg. So there's no. It's just a completely different shape. It's just a. It's one of those ones that I've come to the conclusion would probably be better for one of the sort of models of it, or somebody to do it as a prototype kit. Release it on its own as a prototype kit. And we could live in hope. Yes, thanks, Craig. Eventually, I threw the entire thing behind me and said, "This is impossible, isn't it?" And Craig said, "Yeah, pretty much." If we can't find a way of making clear parts, we're out of luck. Which is a shame, because the A10. I saw some film of the early A10 on flight trials the other day, and I thought it's a really nice aeroplane in its own right, quite separate from the production variants. Ideally alongside. Is that before or after a YF-17? Well, that's alongside a YF-16, a YA-10, an AH-56 Cheyenne, and I would also like a YUH-61, a Boeing YUH-61, which was a much more attractive helicopter than the Black Hawk, I think. Even if the Black Hawk was probably the better choice.
What about the A9?
I would like the A9 as well. I think the A9 it was actually a very, very close competition, wasn't it? It was, it wasn't the A10 certainly didn't romp away with the win. It was actually very, very close. And I like the A9 on its own merits. And if somebody wants to finally do an accurate YF-23 as well, who am I to?
So, Mr. Dave, no, I'm not gendering my Bugatti. I've just found a piece of photo etch from the radiator housing on the floor, but I think it's the spare one that I pinged during my construction. So.
There we go. Dave Fleming says cough YAV8B. I would
they're all things I think for a company like Models Fit would make really, really nice choices for subjects. All those released in as to modern standards by a company like Models Fit would be entirely in keeping with their range, and I think would be decent sellers. A range of prototypes. They've released stuff like the Mirage G8, haven't they?
How about the F111B or the F8U2? I mean, those are two other.
I keep hoping that Sword will do the F8U3
or 3, yeah.
The F8U3, but then I keep hoping Sword are going to do an F7U1 as well. No luck yet.
That would be cool.
But I'm
just going to say this render shot here of the A10 detailed edition cockpit. Goodness me, the detail on that looks quite incroyable, doesn't it?
That looks fun. That looks fun to paint right there.
And the thing is, when it gets to you, it will look like that.
Yeah, it will.
It will.
That's
It
problem,
will be.
isn't it?
I'd just like to go on record as saying almost every competition since the end of World War II, Northrop was robbed.
I wouldn't disagree with you there, Drew. I really wouldn't disagree with you. And there we go. Craig Sargent being an instigator, YF-17 while we're wishing.
There's so many really interesting prototypes that came out specifically from the US in the 60s and 70s. YA9, YA10, YF-16, YF-17. AH-56, YUH-61, YAH-63 would, they're all things that I think would make pretty decent choices for one of the smaller manufacturers to do as a decent modern kit. The YF-17 would certainly catch my eye.
I can always remember there was a it was the 2000 AD annual from about 1978, and there was an article in there about the YF-17 Cobra, I think it was called at the time.
Yeah.
That was a fascinating article. I think that edition of 2000 AD annual is still up in the attic somewhere. A9. Bear with as I share screen here. Share screen. Here we go. A9. What a fabulous looking aeroplane.
Oh yes.
Yep.
They both still exist as well, don't they?
Yeah, there's one of these. There's one of these at there's one at Marsh. There's also one at Castle Air Museum near me.
Is it Castle?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that when I was at Castle.
It's there.
Castle Gate. Dun dun dun. That nose is definitely A10-ish, isn't it?
It's just,
Yeah, if you put your hand over the airplane from the intake back, you can certainly see the similarity. But there's also it's interesting. There's a lot of similarity in some of the plan form to the Su-25.
Yeah,
So-
I think the Su-25 certainly used the YA9 as more of an inspiration than they did the A10.
You can see
Yeah,
why.
like I say, it certainly wasn't the A10 certainly didn't romp away with the wind, did it? It was a hard fought battle.
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably ultimately was the right decision.
Yeah. A lot of the A9 thing, I think I read a certain amount of it was to where the engine positions were and the intakes were for rough field operations was one of the swinging factors. But
Yeah.
and then we went through all the stuff with the gun gases going into the engines on the A10, which made it an issue as well. So
Yeah, which cost at least one of the full-scale development aircraft anyway, didn't it?
yeah.
That's where that sequence of that sequence of ejection photos came from, wasn't it? Was a
It did. Yeah.
gun gas ingestion. So
I like Jim's comment here. YF-17 before the airframe was fed steroids and morphed into the F-18.
I think the F-18 still retained a bit of elegance. It just became fat and horrible when it became the Super Hornet.
I was just going to say that then when it went to the Super Hornet, it just gorged on donuts.
I quite liked the Super Hornet until they decided to tow the pylons out. And now it just looks like every photograph of it from head on or anything just looks like it's taken with a fisheye lens. And it is just and it turned out to be completely unnecessary in the end anyway. So it turned it into a drag queen, and it was unnecessary anyway.
I thought the Blue Angels ones looked quite nice.
Yeah, but they've got no pylons on them, so
I had to do a double take to make sure that they were super bugs rather than the legacy ones. So, but that's probably got a lot to do with how the Blue Angels color scheme softens the F-18, quite frankly. So,
See, I still like the Legacy Hornet. I'm not that keen on the EFG thing. It just
I've never liked the Super Hornet, although funnily enough, I really think that the extra lumps and bumps make the Growler a very attractive variant of the family.
yeah.
I really like the EA-18G. I just don't like the E&F.
do you want to see Drew get really triggered? Because I'm going to do it now. Drew, Fujimi F-18.
Oh God, don't just.
There we go. That's what I was hoping for. Oh dear, you can see the little dark cloud forming over his head now as his mood goes rapidly downhill. Yeah.
Yes.
Not
Anyway,
a fan of
moving
that,
along.
are you, Drew?
Moving
Again,
along.
but just coming back to that, I mean, thinking about kit wise, what's the best 72nd scale heritage?
F-18
Legacy Hornet.
Academy.
And that's, I mean, I built that within the last few years. That is an absolute bear to put together with the fuselage.
Really, I bought about 6 of them on the trot when it was released. I don't remember.
Yeah,
having a single
either the tool.
that sounds like operator error to me, Ian.
No. The way that nose section fitted together was just a pig. It might have just been a one-off with the kit, but
Might have been. Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, like I say, I've built it many times and never had a problem.
Yeah, it was distinctly second hand when I acquired it. The box, so maybe it was a.
But no, it's although it would be. I think the Legacy F18 is due a refresh, probably with slats and flaps, as they would be on the ground.
Yeah, someone needs to come along and do a new tool one, don't they? Really, to current standard. Because let's think. I mean, the Academy one's got to be at least 15-year-old.
15 years old, 2006, something like that, 2005, 2006.
Because I know their Super Hornet is much newer and apparently very, very nice. But
the thing is, the Super Hornet is one of their not click fit, but very, very simplified models. It's very accurate, but it's I would, given the choice, I would probably start with the Hasegawa kit over the Academy one. It's but they're two Academy F18 tools. Not that I'm aware of, Dave. No.
No, I was just going to flash that up. So,
which one, Spencer? You talking the original or the later?
He'll get back to us. And Craig says, or more technically, Australian Hornets. I do like the Aussie Hornets. They're fabulous. I do like all the Commonwealth F18s actually. Right, shall we? We have busted through the hour mark. We're a little bit late with the show tonight, so we'll get to the finally part of the show, and this is Copper State Models, and they are doing in 35th scale is that Gebrov R armored car. Goodness me, that looks like something from Wacky Races, doesn't it?
There is a lot going on there, and none of it's good.
I disagree. I think it looks like a dragster armored car, doesn't it?
I'm saying, yeah. If you put a blower intake somewhere behind where that lamp is, you've got a car that should be racing with Brittany Force. That's ridiculous.
It looks like
that is so utterly terrible. I really want to build it.
Yeah, I do as well.
It looks like the most hostile entry in car race.
Armored go-kart, isn't it?
Yeah.
Twin wheels at the back as well.
Yeah,
nice.
Of course.
Are there wheelie bars behind it?
I am pained because two of my best friends are certainly going to build this and talk about it ad infinitum.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's got one headlight. It's a big old Cyclops.
It's a Ray Harryhausen armored car, isn't it?
Do we know who operated that, John?
Do you know what? I am just
going. It sounds Soviet.
Sounds Eastern European.
I am just looking up Gebrov. See, I rolled my R's there in a. Actually, it was partly built by Renault as well. So
the electrics were shot. Then that's why it's only got one headlight.
Suddenly, it's all making sense, isn't it?
Right, I'm just.
So it's basically a pillbox with wheels. It's going to stuck up someplace.
Got it here, Russian armored car. So I'm on tank-afv.com. But I'm just having a quick read. Gebrov.
Where we find out it's an April Fool's joke.
The 12 vehicles were actively used by the Russian army during World War I and later the two opposing sides in the Civil War. Individual machines were part of the Red Army until 1930 when they were phased out.
Or purged, probably.
So here we go. Gebrov Renault specifications. About 20 built. But yeah, it just I am beguiled by this, and I wanted to build something by Copper State Models for ages, and I think I found the thing that I am going to go for because, yeah, I like that. So it looks like it looks like an F-117 armored go-kart, doesn't it?
Stealth go-kart.
I like,
Yeah.
I like the armored fins on the machine gun.
with rivets from the battleship Potemkin.
Yes. Yes.
Quite like the
What-
shields around the machine guns. I'm presuming that's so they don't traverse the turrets and damage the machine guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an armored car designed by Sergei Eisenstein, isn't it? It's I'm in love, chaps. Quite frankly, I just think that looks absolutely bonkers.
I think the word designed is doing some heavy lifting there.
Yeah,
It wasn't, it was designed in shifts. Groups of people did different parts and they stuck it all together. I love the whole back end being a giant cylinder. It's
yeah.
It looks like the inaugural advert for the Don't Do Drugs kids.
But yes, there's a good friend of mine, Matthew, who builds. That's right up Matthew's street. That I can imagine him doing that. But yeah,
I could see a big crossover into the Warhammer guys.
Yeah, he's an orc.
Looking thing.
Paul Voyle says you won't need to plaster that in mud, John. No, I still will. I will. Yeah. So there we go. I mean, serious face for a second. I am absolutely, like I say, I'm beguiled by this, and I will be, as and when it becomes available, I will be getting one of these because it just fits into my liking of weird vehicles, like our Lafley V15, like my little Tempo 3-wheeler, which I'm going to get finished at some stage. I like this.
What I was looking at just in that last image, it's got a drop front axle that looks remarkably like the kind of custom front axles you used to get on hot rod 32s and 29s and 30s. Chris will know exactly what I'm talking about there, with the U bend up and then the locator. That last photograph, that head-on shot, you see it in the picture.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, that is a drop front axle. That thing's been lowered.
Yeah, it's an armored car dragster.
That's bonkers.
It's great.
And also, when you see it from that angle, it's kind of like you kind of look at it and you think, well, is it kind of like 5 feet tall or is it 30 feet tall? It just the scale is all out on it, isn't it? It's
We're interested to see how big it is in scale, actually, as a model, because you get an idea of the size of it. But I don't know, because that
it's an armored car, so essentially it's a car
With armour.
with armor.
Yep.
the problem is if you've seen a Rolls Royce armored car, they're big.
I don't
Terry
think
Hurd
that is-
comment looks like a Johnny Cash song.
Well, it's so small, they could only fit one headlight.
Yeah, exactly.
22, 23, 24.
All the parts that were stolen in every model being put together. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
They built the car, didn't they?
Any other business?
No, I don't think so. No,
Ian's
I will be,
Ian's got an AOB.
as previously
Yeah.
discussed, I will be in Ireland next weekend for the Nationals.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Yes.
So,
I have
Go on, Ian. Go for it.
I put some primer on that Ferrari that we got sent.
Ah,
So I spent a very productive hour last night redefining all the panel lines so they'll take a wash. As they come in the kit, they're very shallow. They're beautifully done, but they're very shallow. And for putting a panel wash in and stuff, it wasn't quite defined. So I got my the chisels that Drew and I both fell for from Mad Works, and put them into one of my handles that I have. And then it's a case of sitting and just working along the panel to rescribe it. So I did all that, worked all around it, and it's like a coat of primer this afternoon. Got a little bit of a run on that corner. That's just me being numb, but that's rather lovely. Plan is it's going to be dark blue, probably by the end of the week. So I'm hoping I wouldn't mind being able to take it to Telford with me. Actually, there's one of the groups I'm a member of. It will look rather nice on one of their tables. So, but it's I tell you what, it's definitely a
Solid.
yeah. You could do someone a severe injury with it if you whacked them around the head with it. That's for sure. And then while I was doing it, I did my Aston Martin as well. That's very pretty. So
Very nice.
That's a Vanquish Zagato, which will be very, very red. In fact, it will be. Here's one I prepared earlier. That very red.
Oh
Ooh,
goodness me, that is red, isn't it?
So, go that way in. Yeah, I'm rather. Yeah, definitely.
Drew, have you tried any of those SMS paints yet?
No, I've got some here, but I haven't tried any yet.
Good
Their
Lord.
Australian Air Force colours are absolutely cock on.
Yep.
They're really, really good. I did I used Airfix reissued the Tiger Moth with an all green 72nd scale Tiger Moth with an all green Australian aircraft in which, if I can't remember whether it's See the Forest or
Forest
green.
Forest green.
All over. So I bought the appropriate SMS color for it and did it, and it sprays beautifully. All their paints are straight out of the bottle, ready to spray. Beautiful. So I did that one. They're lovely for that. But these pearls, when that's designed, you'll get a different finish depending on what you put underneath it, which is a conversation I've been having on my Facebook page this week. That's going to go over probably going over white or silver to give it a real in your face.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of pictures of one of the real cars, which I will send to John to have a look at later on. And it's just such an in-your-face color. It's lovely. So, but they've come on really nice. As we were chatting briefly before the show, I'm struggling with getting a good primer on resin of late, and so I spend an enormous amount of time chasing around after some Mr. Color resin primer today. I managed to get about what appears to be the last can in captivity. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean there's none left, because it'll be really frustrating if it is.
What's wrong with Tamiya extra fine primer?
It
won't bite into resin.
Won't key it. You need a what's the word I'm looking for, Drew?
Something hot?
Metal etch. You need some form of etch. To it. Yeah. I usually use zero metal and resin etch primer, but the jar I had turned out to be in less than good health, so it went into the round receptacle and is currently winging its way to landfill. So such is life in it. But on a Sunday morning, it's a little bit difficult to get another jar of that.
Chris, any other business?
Well, one interesting thing for me is that we're doing years ago, I think 2011 or 2013, USS Hornet Museum over here in Alameda, the actual carrier from World War II. They asked us to do a display of Battle of Britain, Battle of Midway subjects. So we've got in very short order. We had, I think, 8 modelers did 13 or 19 different airplanes from the Battle of Britain, or Battle of Midway.
Long range Spitfires, yeah.
That had to be taken down about 3 years later because they remodeled the compartment it was in. And the arrangement was they went back to the modelers, which is an important thing to do if you're working with a museum. Make sure that the modelers retain control of the models, because you can get people to build for those displays much easier than if you say that they're going to be permanently given away to a museum that may not take care of them. This week on the ship, I talked to one of the folks who runs the ship, and we're going to it looks like we're going to get a 20 by 20 compartment right next to what they call the Hornet Legacy Room, which is about CV8, to restage that display. And it's really exciting to go through and recruit the old band back and see whose models are available again. And people are signing up to do new ones. We didn't have a B-26 or a B-17 or a PBY, so those are being asked for, and people are volunteering to do them. And other folks asking about doing like an SBD2, and then seeing which airplane should we pick? Who has the most compelling story from VMSB 241? That kind of stuff I love. I'm sort of managing the spreadsheet and that kind of thing, and it's so much fun to organize that because it tells a great story, and the modelers get involved, and we can have a big unveiling, and it can show modeling in a really useful educational way, and nothing but good can come from it. And I think that they're already sort of rubbing their hands together by the idea of doing a Battle of the Philippine Sea model display. Yeah, I'll keep you in touch. The Hornet could become a really neat mecca for scale models. They have a
That would be brilliant.
they have a lot of models have been donated, but back in the day, this is every museum. Grandpa dies, and you bring every model Grandpa ever built and give it to the museum, and they have a whole bunch of really not very great models sitting someplace, and they have that for sure. But if you work with people who know what they're doing and have a historical bent to it, and are having models built for a reason, totally different experience for the people looking at them, and for the modelers, super rewarding. So stay tuned.
Brilliant stuff. Look forward to seeing some coverage from you on that, Chris. Ian, we've got a couple of questions for you before we wrap up tonight. Jim says, Ian Hartart, what brand of metal etch primer do you use? And Dave Fleming of this parish says, how does it etch into resin? Curious ex-chemist.
I don't know that it does, Dave, but I've had better results with it sticking to resin than I have anything else.
Okay.
So my presumption is that something happens. My usual go-to is 0 Paints, which is the UK brand. They make a specific metal etch grey primer. I don't do bad with the Mr. Colour little rattle can. Oh, there's one there, look. This stuff, usually if I'm doing photo etch and there's any paint going on it, that one, which also can be got in a bottle as Mr. now rebranded as Mr. Metal Primer R. Although it's one of the ones from prior to the current I've had this quite a while, so it hasn't got the current labeling on it, so I don't know which thinner they recommend for that. I've heard to use Rapid.
I know. I mean, I've had that's Primer R, and I've had that probably since 2009.
Yeah, and but I like this stuff. It's pungent. Yeah, but it does again. It's all about preference, isn't it?
There we go. Jim says, Jim's so polite. He says, "Thank you, Ian. We do like politeness."
Which reminds me. Speaking of which, how are we doing in the golf?
That's a very good point. Let's just quickly go to. It's currently 5-12 apparently, and America is fighting back. So
we've got better hurry up because we only need 2.5 points and we're there, aren't we? So
yeah. Drew, any other business?
No, not from me. No, I think we've covered it all. I will actually get on with doing some modelling this week, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to cracking on with some modelling this week as well. So
I've done for Mr. Farmer at the minute, and he's threatening me with a parcel, but I'm not sure. I'm only 5-6 weeks out from Telford now.
We are 6 weeks out from Telford. I am mindful of the fact that there is that new, what's the new car they've just done?
Lancia Fulvia.
That's the one.
And the Tamiya Honda Prelude.
The Honda Prelude. I get the feeling he's going to want one of those built for Telford, but I think because Tamiya have molded that in colour, I get the feeling he's going to say just build it as raw plastic, which is fine by me. So I can slap that together nice and quickly.
There's a lot of the Japanese modeling magazines who are really not happy with that trend from Tamiya. They kind of tolerated it with the 911 GT3, but they're going mental about doing it on a Prelude.
What, molding it in colour?
Yeah, molding it in that way. And suggesting that you shouldn't need to paint it. They're not happy about it at all. Prelude's a really important car in Japanese automotive history. To the fact that there's a new Prelude is really important to the petrol heads. And the petrol head modelers are going, why are you doing this? Because it's kind of, Drew was saying just now about the Academy Is it
Yeah,
the
it's
new Hornet?
oversimplifying it. It's oversimplifying some of the enthusiasts.
Yeah,
want to get the job
and
done.
there's a bit of pushback going on about why isn't this a full
Yeah.
detail kit? Okay, you've given us a set of golf clubs, but that kind of thing, and not sure. We'll see what I'd be interested to see what it's like. I know it is available. I know a number of people who have got it. Jan Mahat has got one in. He's in the Czech Republic, I believe. He's got one. There's a couple of other people I know that got one. I could have had one by now, but I didn't want to spend the money, if I'm honest.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
It would have impacted my Telford pot. So,
Dave Fleming says, thinking about it, one of the things I bought from Japan was a bottle of Mr. Resin primer.
it's in a bigger can. In that size of can, I think, Dave, isn't it? I managed to get I've got it done. I've got through a whole can in one session.
That reminds me, I do need to stock up on some spray cans, and I definitely need another can of Mr. Surfacer Black. So Drew, I might be jad lambing at some stage in the next few weeks if you fancy a bit of lunch in Glasgow. So
they've done some new colours in that. I've got white, grey, and black. Apparently, there's a red oxide one, which obviously with Tamiya doing red oxide as well isn't a surprise. But apparently, there's a silver in Japan.
I really wish Tamiya would do a black surface primer.
Yeah,
fine surface primer.
The Tamiya primers are lovely. Funnily enough, they tend, to my mind, they seem to be a little bit more expensive than the Gunze ones for the same volume and size of can. But the Gunze stuff, I know what we've said this before. With Tamiya and the Gunze primers, you know what you're going to get every time. Mr. Surfacer is the most reliable product known to man.
Absolutely consistent.
Yeah.
Absolutely consistent.
As long as you thin it with the right thinner and you spray it all right, you'll get the same result every time. And there's no
There's no risk. There's no. You're not taking a chance. You know exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know how it's going to go.
And you just can't fault them as a product. But again, that's the same thing with all the Mr. Color range, all the Tamiya lacquers and things like that. You can mistreat those things.
Mr. Color every single time.
Yeah.
Every new lacquer range I try. I've got lots of MRPs up there. I've got lots of Hataka. I've got lots of Tamiya lacquers.
Yeah.
Every major range of lacquers I will try. I've got some SMS lacquers. But I always go back to Mr. Color.
Yeah,
I always circle back to Mr. Color.
I think both of us have said this before. I think we've probably both been using it somewhere in the region of 30 years.
Yeah, it's getting that way. I mean, I first got Mr. Color in about 1998. So, yeah.
I bought some from Rainbow 10. When the boxes, the themed boxes, which they still do. I remember buying the RAF ones, all three of the RAF ones, and the Armour one.
I just have to reach over a foot.
Yeah.
And these are all the older ones with the.
Well, cool. Now that is dated because if you've got the yellow can opening thing, in the middle of the handle, there's a slot that sits on top of those on the underside to open those bottles specifically.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I don't think people actually realise what that slot's there for.
No.
Well, gentlemen, I keep going. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time on my end.
Yep. Well, we've done nearly an hour. We've done nearly an hour and a half tonight. So after a few technical gremlins, that will do, gentlemen. Quite frankly, so a big thank you to Chris, to Ian, and to Drew. A big thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight. God bless you, governors. Fingers crossed, we'll be back next Sunday for another Sunday service, and indeed start our Telford countdown. So,
yes, I won't be here next Sunday.
You'll be in Ireland, won't you?
Because I'll be in Ireland. Apparently, I've been challenged to a hot wings competition by one of Jerry's sons for his birthday. So it would be rude not to, not to indulge the fella.
See if you can live stream it. So on that note, we'll see. Well, most of us will hopefully see you next Sunday. So until then, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very, very soon.
See you all later.
No.
Bye for now.